So I read 13 books in 23 minutes. Kind of, sort of. Let me tell you how I did it. Welcome back to 23-Minute Reads with me, Maya D. This is kind of like my accountability vlog because in it, I share with you my takeaways from my current reading, which right now, book number 13, y'all, is Joan Myers-Brown and the Audacious Hope of the Black Ballerina. I feel like I've been kind of mixing up that number. I said 12 in another video, but it's actually 13. It's book 13 of my 23 to 23 challenge, where I'm reading 23 minutes per day, every day, as an action of self-love, as an investment into myself, and as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever-changing world. Hoping that you will join me along in this journey by dropping some comments in that comment section and watching this video so that we can have some dialogue, some true dialogue that will help us to grow and be stronger together. Having in mind that while I have several decades of experience as a dancer, an educator, and a curriculum writer, I am not the know-all-be-all for this book. I'm simply providing a space for dialogue. Well, this week I read pages, let me look at my notes, 113 through 150, and here are my takeaways. Takeaway number 1 is tough love. In the "you don't have to go, but you can't stay here" section of chapter 3, which is titled "But Black is Beautiful, 1950s to 1980s, we find these words. Besides generous praise, careful nurturing, and an uncanny ability to spot and inspire talent, JB is also a taskmaster and a regular practitioner of tough love." End quote. In this section and chapter, a number of interviews with previous dance members, dance company members, and choreographers speak of that tough love and how those words hurt at times. But I believe that this feedback was balanced enough that it nurtured the whole dancer, preparing them for anything that they might encounter on the dance floor or in the world of dance. There were a number of dancers that actually moved on to additional companies, to other companies. Danko dancers, as Philadanko is sometimes called, had a reputation for being hardworking and skilled technicians. As many of you can attest to, it might be talent that gets you in the door, but it's those soft skills, it's character that gets you invited back into the room. This chapter even includes a letter of gratitude from Alvin Ailey, director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. I think that's the full name. You know, you could drop it in the comments if I flundered that. But Alvin Ailey's company, thanking and acknowledging JB for the work that she has done and how his company benefited from that work. Takeaway number 2 is closely united. In that same section, we find these words. Things were better in days gone by, when the ensemble was small, closely united in friendship and just starting out. End quote. St. Charles, a former Danko dancer, reminisces about her time with the company, speaking about how much time the members spent on and off the dance floor. Hours in rehearsal, followed by hours at someone's house or some other social gathering, is thought to have been beneficial to the actual performance. A certain vibe, a synergy was created and maintained through this continuous interaction of those company members. This sentiment is echoed as a wraparound approach by Kibibi Ajanku when I did an interview of her and her dance history, as well as being echoed in the sauce section, as discussed by Isalama Joff in her section of Hot Feet and Social Change, as well as in my own lived experience dancing with and growing up inside of a company. We spent most of our out-of-school hours with one another, and that made connecting to one another in the performance and being able to nourish each other, like that back and forth of energy amongst your company members, it made it a lot easier because we were doing intense work. In this chapter, a number of former members speak to what it is like to be in a company that is just starting out. those intense rehearsals, and the fact that the numbers are smaller, which meant that everybody was in every piece. One dancer spoke about how this actually aided in the musculature of the dancers, like the using those muscles, how they were used and how they trained and how they were able to do so many great things in so many spaces. But it also positively affected the endurance of these dancers, just making them strong dancers. Takeaway number 3 is old school. Zane Booker was a dancer that described the old school ballet classes they took as a part of their training. In this section, we find these words. You gotta be long and place, but you gotta do it 100 times so that your muscles know where to go and that they're strong, end quote. And while this quote speaks directly to performing movements in a dance class, I think it's representational of the entire training. A number of dancers mentioned finishing their pre-professional classes and staying over to watch the rehearsal and the classes of the professional company. In my own lived experience, I remember being a child and watching the teen dancers. As a teen, watching the adult company, feeling inspired, feeling motivated to be them, to be in those choreographies. Similar to my experience, the dancers in the book mention this natural progression that happened, an invitation to understudy or apprentice or just to be in the rehearsal space slowly turned into being a part of that rehearsal, part of a piece and part of the company. Watching the moves performed 100 times feels like a part of an old school training that helped them to be strong dancers, helped us to be strong dancers. I feel that we could also connect this to some of the sciences, looking at things like mirror neurons and visualizing and conditioning. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, or just drop a book emoji in the comments below so that I know that you're here with me. Or you can type the word book, or you could even drop the title of a good book that I should read next. Thank you for staying to the end. My name is Maya D. This has been 23-Minute Reads. And if you liked or found this video interesting, remember to like and subscribe. Stay blessed, spread a good word, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.